I know I will win because I never give up. My friends, that kind of attitude will get you to the top. There is nothing more important in life than perseverance. Just think about it. If you stick it out, you will get there. It is inevitable. The man who has already made up his mind as to what he's going to do and will not be stopped will accomplish that goal. Heaven and earth will move aside to help you do that. It is a principle of life. It's a spiritual principle. It's a physical principle. It's a mental principle. It is true. And if you decide you're going to be a charting master, you will get there. We just ask you to spend 10 to 15 minutes each and every day. It'll be worth every minute you spend, because once you master the charts, you'll make up for all the time you ever spent. And if you're worrying about how long it's going to take you to get there, you're worrying about the wrong thing. Let's jump into these charts. Stocks are a little mixed right now. S&P's down. NASDAQ is up. Everything else is down. Let's jump into the S&P 500. We saw the high last week was 572.88. This week, 571.89. So we're not hitting a higher high. You can look at the two-day chart and see where we bumped up to the high back on that Thursday, Friday candle, and we've not hit it so far this week. You can, of course, see on Thursday where things on the half-day chart and where they've just been petering along slowly but surely, moving up until this afternoon when they dipped over. We've got a few more minutes to go till the charts close, till the market closes, and of course that's when the charts close too. It's 3:48, so we have about another 12 minutes for the market ends. Now, that is where we are on the S&P. Again, lots of volume last week. We're about halfway there on Wednesday. Well, no, we're not really even halfway there yet. Let's blow that up just a little bit to see it. Yeah, we're not even halfway. So not even halfway to average. So again, that can change. But again, you can see where the high was last week and where we are this week. So things are slowing down some. Doesn't mean it can't gin up again. But we will keep an eye on. I think a lot of this is contrived. I think, there's a lot with the election season underway. As I have said over and over again, political ramifications of an election and the party in power wanting the market to stay up. They'll keep it up and use every trick in the book. But once the voting has taken place, it is over. There's no telling what might happen. And all sorts of crazy things can happen in October on the way to the election. Let's look at where we are on the NASDAQ. Now, we looked at this prior interim high back on that week on the 19th, starting the 19th of August. And as we look at things, we can see where on the week that was last week, starting the 16th of September, we hit about the same spot. We can see that we have pushed through it on this week so far as, and again, I'm trying to keep my little cursor off the current week because it adds a little dash to it, but you can see the wick on top of this week's candle has gone a little above that prior high. The candle body itself is sitting right there. You can see, look at the half-day chart down here. You can see again where it's just resting. Is it going to have enough energy to push through, or is it going to die? You can see that the volume is not that high this last day and a half, so we'll keep an eye on things and see if this ends up being some kind of ceiling or if it again pushes through. That is where we are on stock still. NASDAQ is up a little bit, 0.10%. S&P 500 down a little bit, 0.26%. We look at 20-year U.S. government bonds. We may be going short on this on the end of the week. We will see. Interim high, higher than average volume. Not my perfect candle setup. I'd rather a nice green candle with a wick on top. No wick on the bottom at all, and then a red spinning top. We don't have that, but nonetheless, we may be looking to go short on 20-year U.S. government bonds by the end of the week. We're keeping an eye on that. And again, watching all these volume levels on the 2-day and on the half-day and on the weekly. Going to have to see some more volume here Doesn't look like we're even not quite halfway there, and it's Wednesday. So we'll see how the rest of this week goes. I would like to actually see a little bit up volume, turning what now is a down candle into a red spinning top. It'd make me feel better with some of that indecision in there prior to the week ending. But we'll see. It may or may not happen. What about gold? Gold pulling back just a little bit. Now, again, it's been a big up week for gold. It's been a good up week. Well, yeah, full week. Look, it started really jamming up on September the 11th and then just kept going up. And of course, this week pushing up even higher. So we will keep our eye on gold. It is pulling back a little bit for the day. You can see where it jumped up in the morning, pulled back in the afternoon on the half-day chart. We'll see how much more gold has to go. And by the way, Patreon members, we've already told you what's up with silver. Go ahead and check out at the Patreon page the Charting Cryptos, Commodities, and Currencies. Under those commodities, we talk about silver. That'll be released to everybody else on Friday. And again, Patreon members, thank you so much for your support. If you're interested in options, we have a great 3-part series, Options Made Simple, the Charting Wealth Way. You become a Patreon member at any of the 3 levels of support. You get that automatically. Let's move on from gold to Bitcoin, pulling back 1.46%. It's our biggest pullback for the day. And again, you can see it was sort of ambivalent in the morning, pulling back in the afternoon. Again, Bitcoin, like the S&P and the NASDAQ, seems to try to be topping out right here. And we'll see just where it will go. Again, when we look at, let's zoom into the volume here so you can see it. We look at where the volume was this last week and the weeks before, going all the way back to the big push down with all that volume. We've not even had average volume since that week beginning the 5th of August. None of the weeks have given us average volume. So we're, again, watching, is Bitcoin going to push up above where the big crash occurred at the 73.79 mark? Is it going to even get up to that? Don't know. Difficult. Now let's look at, I want to show you the 24-hour-a-day Bitcoin chart. You can see they are very similar. Volume is a little bit different, but again, very similar with HODL and with 24-hour-a-day Bitcoin. And you can see on the 24-hour-a-day Bitcoin how it has already popped up and actually pushed above where things started moving down so strongly on that week, beginning the 5th of August. So we'll keep our eye on things and see where Bitcoin is heading and if Bitcoin's going to get any more volume to sustain those up moves. You can, of course, see how the volume, increased, particularly when Bitcoin was hitting those prior super highs, just how the volume really ginned up after sort of an interim low and then that turnaround and that big up move. So that is where we are as the day slowly draws to a close. We so appreciate you being with us. It's always a pleasure to have you with us. Again, we're making it over the hump day and getting into Thursday and Friday, and we may be waiting to pull the trigger on a down move on 20-year U.S. government bonds. Remember, the inverse fund for your practice trade is Tango Bravo Foxtrot. That is the single inverse for 20-year U.S. government bonds for TLT. And of course, right now you can see it heading up on the weekly chart, sort of flattening on the 2-day. So we will keep an eye on things and just see how the week ends up. God bless, my friends. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.